That's what it sounds like.
Hey, oh man, I love it. I wouldn't try. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wasn't completely covered in mud after that. I fell a couple of times. Dave. I used to
Did it come with there?
wearing a face mask. One of them pool well mask.
That's what it was.
You didn't bring your laptop.
Oh,
What's up? Trying to make a fashion. So it's okay. Don't crash it. No, I lost track of time. I'm sitting there thinking at 4:30.
Frank, your last, I couldn't do it. I was gonna shoot a rocky. At the figure. And you walk into school.
Oh, girl.
It was so loud. I didn't hear anything. I just saw it.
There's a lot of people here tonight. Have them. Let's have a bunch of students getting recognition. Yeah, I didn't see. That's what I'm saying. Ain't nothing under spotlight for recognition.
Where are you going next?
Let's know how to read.
And you get your books through. So you.
Sign up for Laura's net benefits.
That's what it is. I don't know how to read.
I think the competitive ball we play, probably the USA tournament.
I just
wanted to
tournaments.
And see what we had for us.
Get rid of all.
That's the right thing.
I got a bunch of cattle. I got three cattle.
People won't.
That's right.
Okay, we'll get started. I'd like to call the Monday, March the 13th, 2023 regular Blaine County School Board meeting to order. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I appreciate the fact that you're here supporting our youngsters and our school system. And at this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Edwards to give our invocation. As soon as that's over, our students from Plainview will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us strength to be here tonight. Reach out to the board if you could. Give them the knowledge, the wisdom to make the correct decisions for the community, kids, the faculty and staff for the school system. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Here at this time, we have Damani Grimes, Ulysses Hernandez, and Alex Santos from Plainview who will lead us into pledge of allegiance.
Let's begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice.
justice for all.
Don't remain there for that.
Yeah.
Stay up this for a while.
Formers don't withstand up.
And my mic.
This time I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve tonight's.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed likewise. No opposition, motion carries. The approval of tonight's agenda passed. Number 5, approval of minutes. Entertain a motion that we approve the minutes from the February 13th, 2023 meeting.
So moved. I second the motion.
Okay, been moved and properly seconded. We approve the minutes from the February 13th meeting. Is there any discussion? If there is none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. There is none, motion carries. Minutes from February 13 meeting have been approved. This time, number 6, spotlights and recognitions. Dr. Atkins, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. We have several students and we'd like to recognize tonight. I will begin first with Eden Lakes. These are students that participated in the Junior Beta Convention in Greensboro. Ms. Marlowe is going to be calling their names and they'll be coming around. And then we'd like to get a picture at the end with them as well. So Ms. Marlowe, whenever you're ready.
Ray Alvarado, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest, 5th place, black and white photography. Kaylin Altry, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Gabriella Barden, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Alea Bowen, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Bentley Bullock, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Sherilyn. Got them out of order there. Hold on. Aiden Hillstead, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Sherilyn Delgado Hernandez, 3rd place, 2-dimensional design, 2nd place, color photography, 3rd place, Songfest, 4th place for 4th grade Spanish. Morris Kemp Jr., first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest. Talise McKeever, first place, 2-dimensional design, 3rd place, Songfest, 4th place, speech, 5th place, painting. Miss Jennifer Everett, club sponsor. Ms. Angie Butcher, club sponsor, and Ms. Sherry Hayes, club sponsor.
Board members, you also stand.
Look at that, Dale.
Keep going. Next, we have Bladenboro Middle School students who participated in the Beta Convention. Who Okay, I'll switch that on. We'll come back to Bladenboro Middle for beta. This is Bladenboro Middle Girls Basketball, is that right? All right. So this is presented to the Bladenboro Middle Girls Basketball Team for being tournament champions for the Bladen County Conference.
Really nice. Very good.
And Miss Crystal Mikulski is going to be calling those names. I'm sorry.
First, we have Malia Chapman. Hadley Dove. Amaya McCarthy Maxfield. Janaya McKeithen. Cheyenne Reinhardt. And Coach Odin Evans.
Yes.
Got some more.
Boys basketball, right? Next, we have the Bladenboro Middle School Boys Basketball Team for also being tournament champions in the Bladen County Basketball Tournament. Ms. Mikulski will also call those names for us.
We were also the Waccamaw A Conference champions.
Chris.
Blake Britt. Keontae Hill.
Oh, Blake, I'm sorry, you got two of them. Get two, one for the conference and one for the county. Two there.
Face the same. Sean McDowell. Sincere McKinley. Calvin Sinclair. And manager Jaden Ruffin.
Another Hannah coach.
There you are. Congratulations.
Well, I really love the way.
All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Hold still, hold still. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Like, you might make me go to dinner. Oh, I know. Ain't that I could have done today.
Next, we will recognize students from Bladenboro Middle School for their achievements and accomplishments at the North Carolina Junior Beta Convention in Greensboro. Ms. Vanessa Ruffin, principal, will be calling these names.
Good evening, everyone. I'll start with Blake Pitts, first place campaign skills. Natalie Ridge, fifth place service learning showcase.
Congratulations.
Malia Chapman, fiber arts. Hadley Dunn, first place campaign skit, third place song fest. Lily Hester, first place campaign skit, third place song fest. Amaya McCarty Maxfield, first place campaign skit, third place song fest.
Yes.
Miriam McCarty Maxfield, second place photography. Kaylin Neely, second place performing arts, fourth place painting. Hayden Lee, second place technology. Kendall Pinion, scrapbook. Deanna Reinhardt, first place campaign skill. Jaden Ruffin, fifth place marketing and campaign skill. Keith and Russ, second place performing arts, fourth place woodworking. Chloe Thompson, third place songfish. And our sponsor that is here with us tonight is Jessica Rose. Two, three. One, two, three.
Yeah, in that cooler, take a left right there, see if you got the.
Let our call.
Thank you, Ms. Crystal.
Thank you. All right, next, we have Bladen Early College High School. This was their very first year participating in the senior Beta Convention, also held in Greensboro. Those conventions actually back up to each other. So we have a couple of days of high school students and then a couple of days of elementary and middle. So Ms. Haley Cheshire, principal, will be calling their names tonight.
With me tonight, I have Jessica Garcia Bastida, second place performing arts, small group. Isaiah Locke, fourth place drawing, division 1. And finally, Abigail Moore, second place performing arts, small group. We also have our sponsor with us tonight. Holly.
Okay. You guys all right?
Perfect.
And tonight for our final spotlight and recognition, we have the Eagles from East Bladen High School. Who also had several students who competed and got several awards and accomplishments also at the North Carolina Senior Beta Convention. Ms. Georgia Spalding, principal, will be calling out those names tonight.
Good evening. It's with great pleasure that I introduce to you a group of wonderful students that I had the opportunity to spend the entire time with them up in Greensboro along with driving the bus. And so bus time, hotel time, activity time. And we traveled up to Greensboro, and one of the main things that you'll hear us talk about or introduce is campaign skit participants, because we traveled to Greensboro and we jumped in the air and we voted for Jair McLeveen, who came back as our state president. And so first of all, let's put I'm going to start out with Kendall Bordeaux, who participated in the campaign skit, and our campaign skit came in third place amongst all of the skits that were performed at Greensboro or at Beta Club Convention. So Chandler Bordeaux also was fifth place show choir. Our show choir came in fifth place among all of the Beta Club participants. We have Danielle Cotton, third place campaign skit, fifth place show choir, as well as fifth place individual place performing arts vocalist. Ariel Cromartie, third place campaign skit. DeAudrey Demery, third place campaign skit, fifth place show choir. Destiny Gore, third place campaign skit participant. Emily Lewis, third place campaign skit, fifth place show choir participant. Darrell May, campaign skit participant and a show choir participant. Again, third place for campaign, fifth place for show choir. And Jair McLeveen, who came back as our student office state president. He will be competing at the national level for national president representing Bladen County.
Wow.
It's Bladen Eagle. And Sierra McCoy, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Fran McNeil, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Ayana Murchison, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Zaire Ripley, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Bella Robinson, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Ariana Smith, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Kamani Spencer, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Shania Thurman, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. Emma Tarverville, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. He didn't break her foot in the campaign skip. He broke the playing softball. Taylor Willis, third place campaign skip, fifth place show choir. And our three sponsors, the Cheryl West, Ms. Sabra Ludlam, and Miss Anita Williams.
Thanks, thank you. I do, I'm gonna get behind y'all. 'Cause y'all wouldn't want to-
Look, can see you, baby. Stand on your. Thank you.
All right, I think I got it. All right, ready, guys?
Okay, y'all wait, turn around.
Take it one. All right.
Oh.
I don't know if that says much or not. He was a good teacher. I think I'm done.
I be going now.
We'll start off with
That'll work too. Thanks, sir.
Okay, and we'll start back up with number 8, which is information items, 8.01 is Tar Heel School Construction Project. Before we move on to that, though, just let me say, which they're all gone now, so there's nobody here to do a sermon for. But we appreciate the children and their participation, of course, but I don't know that with my meager vocabulary that I have, enough to thank and show the appreciation to all the teachers and administrators and TAs and coaches, sponsors that make not only the things that we recognize tonight possible and available to our children and our students, but all the activities that we have. Those are in parent volunteers too. I guess I could throw some of those in, or just volunteers, not necessarily parent volunteers, but without all those working as a team, we couldn't do it. We appreciate it. We want you to continue to work to make Bladen County schools as good as they can be. And we thank you. At this time, back to number 8, information items. We'll turn it over to Mr. Mike Burris.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the board. It is, when I go to board meetings across the state, it's always one of the best parts is to see the student awards and certificates to give out. It really is impressive, some of the students and their performance. This is the monthly report for the month of, well, it's for the month of February, but I messed up and put the title of January still on top of it. So I apologize for that. But this is a photo of the current building. As a matter of fact, the 2 of the wings of the building now have their brick veneer on the outside of it. And they have their roofs in place for all of them. So the building's moving along very well. Progress is still progressing rapidly. They have set all the lintels on the 2 wings, and they'll soon be starting to set windows and window frames inside the building. On the second page of the report is the current contract amounts and completion dates. Now, a list of the allowances and the contracts that have been, and the prices that have been charged against those. You can see that there's still a remaining balance within your contingencies and the CM allowances that are in the project. Total of the funding balances on the 3rd page. Our current status, we are still below the budget for the total income. Project is moving along well. They're actually ahead of their cash flow curves, but that is because of the progress that they've been able to make on the job site. Next is a list of the allowances and some of the adjustments that have been made as items have come up that have been addressed by the architect and the construction management team. If there are any questions on any of those, we'd be glad to help answer those. You can see some of the allowances that are still pending for final adjustments, and we'll be coming to you shortly. We're still under most of all those allowances and contingencies. Due to the nice weather that we have had over the fall and winter, we have not had any requests for extensions of the construction time at this point. The geothermal fields have completed their borings and grouting of the system, and it's been run into the building now. So this spring we'll start work on the ball field, the topsoil back down and reseeding the ball field. Start work on that project. You can see a list of some of the milestone summaries on page 7. I've gone ahead and started listing the milestones toward the completion of the project, so you can check progress against those and how they're doing. Project is on schedule and on track, progressing very well. On page 8, it gives you a list of the activities that have taken place in the last 30 days and those upcoming in the next 30 days. And then on final pages, you can see some of the aerial shots and some of the other shots inside the building of its progress. Once we get the windows in and start doing some of the air conditioning systems and temporary electricity, we'll be able to start hanging drywall and start some of the finish. Any questions?
Have you encountered any problems that the board may not be aware of?
Not at this time. We brought everything forward to you with including the fire tank and the other options. Do not know of any outstanding items right now that are of any major consequence. Some are small, little details that we're catching. But other than that, it's going along very well. Teams are working very good.
Sound good?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Burris. Dr. Axon, you have anything to add to that?
No, sir. I think we covered everything we need to share on.
Okay, well, we'll move on to item number 9, the consent agenda. So I'd like to entertain a motion that we'll approve this.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? There is none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. There's none, motion passes to approve the tonight's consent agenda. Move on to item number 10, action items. 10.01, approval of 2023-24 early college academic calendar. And then we'll turn that over to Ms. Cheryl White Smith.
Good evening, board, chair, and board. I bring before you the 23-24 academic calendar for the Bladen Early College. You will know that the start date and the end date coincide with our Bladen Community College calendar. This calendar has 173 instructional days with 1,065 instructional hours, which meets our requirement of 1,025 hours. The first semester has 83 days and the second semester has 90 days. I ask the board to approve this calendar tonight for the 23-24 school year.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? There's none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. No opposition. Motion carries. So your calendar is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item number 10.02, repair and paving of East and West Bladen High School parking lots. Mr. Beanie Leonard.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I just need to bring forward to you today with the facilities meeting and we discussed bringing forward the paving of East Bladen and West Bladen High School parking lots. Been working with Ms. Harrelson. I just up here today to get approval from the board to move forward with this.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
What's the project here?
Just
Why not?
the prices on, I was just trying to find it myself. It's on here somewhere.
It's,
Oh, I see what it is. They got to remove some. I'm sorry. I didn't pay attention.
This on the quote that we got?
yeah, the other quotes, this is the cheaper quote.
Ms. Harrison, just to share with the board, this is coming from the funding that was designated for hurricane damages to the high schools. It's a balance off of the roofs that were repaired. And Ms. Harrison has sent that request to DPI per the board previously. And they have not told us otherwise. And the auditor also agreed this money could be used for that purpose as long as it was connected back to damage at those high school facilities.
Correct.
That's good. Okay. Motion.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion that we pave the parking lots at our two high schools, east and west.
It's already been.
Motion.
We've already had a motion. Paid the vote. Sir.
That was our discussion, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
All right.
All opposed likewise. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. That's number 10.03. Our fiscal audit contract, Sue Harris.
Good evening, board and superintendent. You have before you the auditing services contract that we have put out for bids. This was put out on January 30th and we received bids back on February 24th. We advertised this on our website. We also advertised it in the newspaper. We received back one bid. That bid is what you have in front of you from Anderson, Smith and White. This bid, this contract that comes from them, keep in mind, this is for all governmental funds, which includes your local current expense, your state funds, your individual school funds, which is the individual schools that have their own funding, the capital outlay funds, your federal grant funds, your local special revenue funds, and also the scholarship funds that we have at the time, and also your enterprise fund, which is your child nutrition funds. And leadership is asking that for the approval of this contract.
Move that we approve the audit contract. Second.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Discussion. Is this the same company that we had?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
This the same company we had before?
It is the same company we had before. There's very few auditing firms now across the state that audit governmental accounting. And I've talked with other finance officers and they're getting the same thing. Because there's just very few that go that deep into auditing.
Any more questions or further discussion?
No, my question was answered.
Didn't you say all local funds were audited?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Very intensely.
Okay, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. No opposition, motion carries. Okay, this time I'll entertain a motion that we go into session for the purpose of discussing personnel.
So moved.
As per NCGS 143.318. Thought with an attorney if needed, as per NCGS 143.318 and 11, and to discuss student reassignment and student discipline as per the 1974 Family Rights and Privacy Act. Got a motion, we got a second. Any discussion? None, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion. We come out of closed session.
Mr. Chair, I move that we come out of closed session. Second.
Then moved and properly seconded. We come out of closed session. Any discussion? There is none. All those in favor of the motion, they've been known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. There's no opposition. Motion carries. We are now back in open session, and I will at this time entertain a motion that we approve personnel action item number 1.
I move that. Second. So moved. Second.
Moved properly seconded, that we approve action item number 1. Any discussion? There's none. All those in favor, may it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion carries. That moves us to number 13, matters of interest to board members. Yeah, if you got anything you want to.
One thing I have,
Bring it up.
Mr. Chairman, from attending the risk management conference, that I attended, I was awarded this certificate here. We pass it on for them to actually come in and do an actual risk assessment within the school system. And they'll pay for it. We can utilize that somewhere, I'm sure. They gave out like 6 or 7 of them. They're coming in and actually evaluate the actual school, see what risk you may have in the work area. To make sure we're good on everything.
Who's doing that?
That is the actual, North Carolina School Board Association Trust.
Risk management conference, economic assessment
A
certificate.
lot of good information came out of that.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
You're very welcome.
Anybody else? Matters of interest? Okay, chair's report. I have nothing. I'm gonna send it on to the superintendent.
All right, thank you, Chairman Benton and Board members. Just a few things I need to share with you all. The curriculum committee met last Monday to discuss the pending math textbook adoption and the high school language arts adoption. As you leave tonight, there is a sample of these materials for you all to take with you to look at. We'll be bringing this back to the April board meeting for approval. So please stop by Ms. Whitesmith on your way out. She'll have 2 or 3 bags of materials to give you as you exit. You can look at the ones that are coming before you all for approval. Please make sure you do that. The facilities committee also met last week to discuss some facility needs and upcoming projects. Obviously, tonight we brought you a couple of those because of being able to go ahead and utilize those funds from hurricane damage at the, I think it was Florence, if I remember correctly, when that money was awarded to us from DPI. We are getting some pricing and updates on some other large items that we'll need to bring to you all that have been shared. I think Mr. Lennon covered several of those in the work session. Also, I'm going to be reaching out to Attorney Malone, who has helped us out with school construction projects, to begin the RFP process for design on multi-purpose building for Elizabethtown Primary and Bladenboro Primary. So we'll be looking at that to see what our next steps would be in that. There is a balance left from the high school debt retirement that could be used for that purpose. If we do move forward, we'd have to approach the county commissioners for the balance of that money to be used. Obviously, the school board cannot borrow money. The county will have to borrow that money on behalf of the district. But there is around $350,000 left from the debt retirement because the remaining of that's being used toward the Tar Heel payment. So the balance of that could be used to fund the 2 multi-purpose buildings. So we'll know more once we get a design, potential design, and put an RFP out to look at potential architects and what that cost may be. Also, there'll be some other things coming to you all as well in the coming months on some of those projects. We will be having a budget ad hoc committee meeting on Monday, March 27th at 4 o'clock to 5:30. I will send a reminder to those members who serve on that budget ad hoc committee. We'll be looking at the current expense and capital outlay proposal that we'll need the board to fully approve in April to go to the county commissioners for our request for the 23-24 school year.
What time is that meeting you playing at?
It'll be at 4 o'clock on March 27th.
22nd.
Yes, sir. Also, just a reminder, if you're still interested in the School Board Association Virtual Law Conference that's taking place next week. It's not Ms. Johnson, though, if possible, by tomorrow, if you've not signed up for that. Also, the Consortium of Safe Schools State School Boards Association. That's coming up at the end of March. I think our window is fixing to close on that. So if you've not signed up and interested in attending, please let Ms. Johnson know by tomorrow if possible. Also, next month, we'll be bringing back to the board for consideration the student uniform policy. We've had several questions and concerns that principals have addressed with us concerning the uniforms. So we will need to gather some information and let the board make the decision for the 23-24 school year if we will continue with school uniforms or go back to a student dress code. So we'll be bringing that to you all at the April meeting for consideration. We're working with the School Board Association to schedule a work session for us to come and do some training here. I'm waiting for Ms. Christine to get back in touch with me, and we will plan to have a work session shortly once we can get it on their calendar to come and do some training. That will get the board an opportunity to ask any questions they may have as well. The School Board Association, they'll do a customized session for us here in the county, so we definitely look forward to that. As it relates to PBIS, there has been obviously some questions and concerns that have been brought up as it relates to PBIS. We talked with our principals the other day, and they feel like the model as it is now is not being effective as it relates to helping with student discipline and behaviors. So we have a principals meeting this week that we're going to be starting to look at. Of course, it won't be done. It'll take some time, but we want to look at developing a behavior management program for our district that is Bladen County authored based on our schools and what our principals are working with, and it aligns with our student code of conduct. So that's a project we're going to be undertaking as a leadership team with principals and district admin to help build a program that will work for our students. I think a lot of it is some of the things and rewards and things they've used in the past. The kids have lost interest in that. So we got to look at something a little bit different way that may be more functional and that can be supported by administration. Also, it could also help support families in that as well. So we'll be working on that. Also, next month, we'll be bringing to you the 23-24 recruitment and retention plan. While we still have one more year of ESSER dollars left, we want to utilize those to assist us in our recruitment and retention. We've had one for the past couple of years, and we'll be bringing that proposal to you all. Once Ms. Harris and I take a look at the budget and what's available, we'll make a recommendation to you all for the 23-24 school year as it relates to recruitment and retention bonuses there as well. Also, I want to share with you all, this is a pretty significant bill that has been introduced in the House Bill 219. The North Carolina School Board Association, North Carolina Association of School Administrators, and the North Carolina State Superintendent Association all oppose this bill. This bill would require that school districts share even more of their money, charter schools, even funds for that they may not necessarily have. For example, if a charter school does not have pre-K, but we have a pre-K program, we would be required, if this bill passes, to give them a share of pre-K money, even if they don't have a pre-K program. Any federal grants that the district would apply for and receive, they will be given a portion of that, even if the grant was written and authored by the school system itself. Other areas that it's looking at is sales tax refunds. Currently, charter schools get all state and local sales tax back. All school systems get as local sales tax. So they would get their sales tax plus a portion of just the local portion that we would get back. The three organizations have taken a pretty heavy stance in encouraging school boards to also advocate. This will be detrimental. If this passed, you may be looking at losing positions and programs because the funding cannot sustain. It would touch federal money, state money, local money, child nutrition money, and it's our child nutrition supplemental sales and reimbursement rate. Even if they don't participate in the national school lunch program, they can still get money as a result of this bill. Right now, there's only certain pots of money that they're entitled to. Local portion, we get billed either monthly or quarterly to any charter school that a student from Bladen County attends, and we pay that portion. It's important to note that if a child is in a charter school beginning at the beginning of the year and they come back to us in 2 months' time, yes, we're not billed that local portion in that 2 months' time, But that charter school's already gotten the state money, and that state money does not follow the child when they come back to the school system. So the premise of this is to ensure there's fair funding. And as a part of this bill, even if a charter receives, say, Title I funding, they're not required, and even this bill does not require them to share their portion back to us if the child leaves, but we're going to be required, even though they received Title I, we have to get them a portion of our Title I, even if the child has never been in our system. So I want to make you aware, there's a lot of advocacy going out to oppose House Bill 219. So at this point, it's just in process. It has been filed, but there's not been any action or vote. But just let you know that your organization you subscribe to is opposed to House Bill 219.
You know the percentage on that, Jason? What we have to share? I don't know if you had that.
Susan, did they give a percentage in here?
I don't think there's a percentage.
I don't think they defined a percentage yet, but right now, our local is based on, we take our local funds, divide it evenly, and then whatever our per pupil cost is locally is what we spend. And that charter school can be an out-of-county charter school. If someone lives in Bladen County and they attend a charter school in Cumberland County, we send the money to Cumberland County.
Virtual and virtual.
And virtual charters as well. There are virtual charters as well. Wow. You know, that's one thing that they're concerned, especially reimbursements that come back to the district. Even if, like I said, the biggest challenge, I think, is if they don't even provide that service, they still get the money and they can do what they want to with the money. And we're restricted on how certain funds are used. So just to let you know, that's ongoing there. A couple more things. We are in the process of rolling out, it's a new security panic button. We will be doing a soft rollout to finish out the school year, but a full implementation next school year. This is being provided by the North Carolina Center for Public School Safety. It was an appropriation in legislation. What this is, it provides teachers and staff. They can download an app that if there's an active assailant in a building, they can press the button for a minute, or actually a second and a half. It will activate and ping that there's an active assailant in a school. It also allows you to do police requests, fire and EMS as well. Also, it has a messaging feature and it also has a staff alert feature. So if a fight breaks out in a classroom, teacher can literally mash that button, I need administration in room 217. Then that alerts them to come. We're working on a soft rollout at this point to do some testing with it. But I think it'll be another tool in our arsenal as it relates to school safety. So we are looking forward to that. And finally, due to the Easter holiday, the board meeting for April is going to be a week later than it usually is. So it'll be on April 17th. Just as a reminder, schools and departments will be closed for spring break, beginning on Friday, April the 7th through Friday, April the 14th, and school will resume for students back on Monday, April the 17th. That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Dr. Act, for that. I entertain a motion that we adjourn. Got a motion and second, and move proper second that we adjourn. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. All opposed. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Already? Yeah, wait a second. Already? Already? All right, buddy, be good.
Hey, so on that security button, one in every class.
Security button. Yeah, it'll be on their cell phone. It's on cell phone.
It'll be on who? The teacher?
Teacher's cell phone. And any staff member at the school will have an office, all that. So
They can match that button.
they can match that button, launch the app, they hold a second, half, it activates. I'm gonna ask them to come do a demo